and welcome. This is your Wish Upon a Star Lunar Horoscope for Friday, June 18, 2021. The first quarter moon will be voyaging through the sign of Virgo the Virgin, bringing practicality to feelings of sentimental affection. Also, romantic interludes and childbearing. So what this means is that Virgo, especially this kind of a lunar event in Virgo, brings the situations where people might get really sentimental, like romantic love life issues and interludes, or feeling affectionate about somebody and being nostalgic, or even having children. Those particular things, it will make people pragmatic about those issues. So that's what it means. Now, the first quarter moon is also a waxing half moon. So a first quarter moon is the same as saying a waxing half moon, a moon increasing. And during this June 2021 cycle, the growing increasing half moon occurs while transiting the 14th mansion of the moon, and that's going to happen at 3:55 in the morning a.m., and that's universal time coordinated, and we're using tropical astrology. Now, Lunar's activation of lunar mansion number 14 during this waxing half moon at 50% light is potent for performing projective magic spells and rituals. And mansion of the moon number 14 is in effect from the mid-morning of June 17th at 10:09 a.m. until the morning of June 18th at 8:53 a.m. With the waxing half moon occurring in Virgo the Virgin on the 18th at 3:55 a.m., lunar mansion number 14 is magically activated at the exact time of the first quarter moon in Virgo. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, Luna will be voyaging through the mansion that we're going to talk about here. It's going to be voyaging from Virgo at 17 degrees 8 minutes and 34 seconds, moving into Libra at 0 degrees 0 minutes and 0 seconds. And this is according to Abraham. These are the margins of this mansion that we're going to talk about, number 14. And this is according to Abraham. Now, the star to wish upon inside the 14th mansion of the moon, Alchemical, is named Spica. And this is according to Warnock. Now, Spica is also called Alpha Virginis and is located in the sheaf of wheat held by Virgo the Virgin to demonstrate coming with food rather than weapons. Now, ask the angel of Alpha Virginis, who is named Ergediel, to dissolve any unions based on evil or based upon hatred, thus allowing freedom and love to flourish. Agrippa reveals the numerous names for this mansion as being, there's a lot of them, so bear with me here: H.O.A.F, Aramet, Azimeth, Alchemical, and an Alchemic, excuse me, to which he refers to as the Spica, Virgo, or flying spike. It obliterates carnal passions, harvests, and plants, though it benefits the holdings of kings. Mansion of the moon, Achuret, or Aramet, and Azimet, and Alchemic, and these other ones that we spoke about, and Alchemic, and also called Alchemic by Warnock. This profits married couples and is therapeutic when it comes to medicinal remedies for ailments. So very, very powerful and good things you can do. Now, travel by land is bad, while journey by sea is good in this mansion of Alchemic. Creating images of these things during this mansion brings them to pass. The image of a dog chasing and biting his tail causes the separation of the woman from the man during mansion of the moon number 14. Agrippa discloses that to increase the potency of the rendering, ancient magicians formed the emblem of a canine chasing and biting his tail from the alchemical metal of red copper. So they made the rendering of this canine or dog chasing and biting his tail out of red copper. They made an insignia. To further strengthen the enchantment or the emblem, the fur of a black dog as well as a black cat were added to the insignia. According to Kabbalistic lore, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, while Libra is ruled by Venus. Virgo birthstone is sapphire, the beautiful sapphire, with Libra birthstone being opal. Rosaries and amulets using sapphire for Virgo are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations, in this instance of a waxing half moon in Virgo, whilst transiting through lunar mansion number 14, could be utilized with perfumes, essential oils, herbs, or flowers, as well as colors. Planetary alchemical metals, in this case, would indicate quicksilver for the planet Mercury. The warning here is that mercury or quicksilver is a liquid metal at room temperature. Moreover, quicksilver is toxic if ingested or absorbed through the skin, and therefore is neither practical nor workable for this operation. Now, only persons with the skill and the knowledge and the licensing to do so should ever handle quicksilver, since this metal can cause lead poisoning. Now, regarding the Virgo birthstone of sapphire, this could be used for amulet gemstone talismans as well as for rosary beads. Since Agrippa recommends red copper rather than mercury or quicksilver as the alchemical metal of choice for forming a magical talisman to be used during the mansion of Alchemical, we shall take a look at the planetary associations of the star Spica, also called Alpha Virginis. Now, remember, Agrippa recommends red copper rather than quicksilver, okay? So we're gonna talk, because you see Mercury rules Virgo. Okay, so one might think that this quicksilver was all you had, but Agrippa gives us a hint. Red copper can be used instead of quicksilver. So now we're going to look at the star Spica specifically. Okay, not just an entire constellation of Virgo, and not just one. You know, we're not going to just talk about just the entire constellation. We're going to talk about Spica, which is in the sheaf of wheat that Virgo holds in her hand, specifically to get more understanding about what we should use for the metal, for the rosary chain, or for the amulet bezel, or for the magical jewelry setting. Yeah. Now, it's important to note here that according to Vivian Irwood Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy attributes the star Spica, which finds placement in the sheaf of wheat of Virgo, which the Virgin is embracing with her left hand, as having the qualities of Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars. Now, the alchemical metal for Venus is copper, and the metal assigned to Mars is iron, according to Kabbalistic teachings. Since Agrippa divulges that the use of red copper for the making of the magical talisman gives the icon powerful effectiveness, the Venusian association of copper makes sense. Also, in view of the fact that Agrippa and Ptolemy agree upon the attributes of Venus for the star Spica or Alpha Virginis, you see, red copper not only makes sense, but it's an excellent choice. You see, since we have Agrippa agreeing with Ptolemy, and since we have the Venusian, that Venusian aspect agreeing, that's what we're going to go with. So although Virgo is ruled, in general, the constellation is ruled by the planet Mercury, the star Spica has these other associations of Mars and Venus. So Agrippa and Ptolemy, because of the star Spica, we're going to go here, we're going to say that this copper, and Agrippa says red copper, is an excellent choice. And it makes sense. In addition, copper is both practical and usable for this function of fashioning a rosary chain, an amulet bezel, or a magical jewelry setting. Now, iron, which is associated with Mars, is another possibility, according to Ptolemy, because Spica is ruled by Venus and Mars. Nevertheless, to keep in step with the mood of Mansion of the Moon Alchemical, as indicating that the Virgin comes bearing food and peace rather than weapons of war, utilizing copper, the Venusian copper, to affix sapphire, rosary beads, amulet gems, or magical jewelry gemstones is a far superior selection for this praxis. Indeed, sapphire fastened to copper makes a sublime and potent combination for creating a magical talisman. Keep in mind that the number assigned to each mansion of the moon may vary reliant upon the cultural and astrological attributes of the system being used. What pinpoints the exact lunar mansion to which we are referring is made clear by the use of the star to be wished upon, as well as by the name of the indicated mansion of the moon. Other Kabbalistic correspondences for lunar mansion number 14 are as follows. The moon in Virgo provides common sense in matters of love, romance, and procreation. Planetary archangel for Luna or the moon is Gabriel. God is my strength, power of God, and one of the messengers of God. Now, zodiac angel for Virgo is Hamaliel, whose divine tone is I analyze. Tarot card for Luna or the moon is the High Priestess. The High Priestess card, we have the High Priestess sitting between the pillars of the temple. The temple, the pillars are called Yakim and Boaz. Okay? Now, she sits with the triple crown of the moon goddess on her head, a cross on her chest, and a Torah scroll in her hands. Now, she is caressing the Torah scroll. Now, understand the Torah is the lock, which is for the left brain. The tarot card of the High Priestess, which is associated with the planet of the moon, the ancient planet of the moon, they called them planets back then, the sun and the moon, the tarot, which is, you can spell, the Torah, you can put a T, and you got tarot, and it's chasing its tail, sort of like the Ouroboros, and you've got the right brain key of the tarot cards in pictorial form. Very important for unlocking the secrets of the Kabbalah, which are the Torah is about the Kabbalah, and so are the tarot cards. So the tarot cards are flashcards for Kabbalah. That's what they're for. Okay, they're created as flashcards for learning Kabbalah, for learning Hebrew letters, and learning the zodiac and the planetary associations. And it gives you many correspondences, because the Hebrew letter is the secret to unlocking Psalm 119, and the Hebrew alphabet, which gives you the Psalms to unlock all the magical keys. Now, the tarot, before we get to that, the Western Array musical note, the musical note for Luna or the moon is F. We're going to play the note of F for you now. That's the healing note for the moon, for the High Priestess card. Now, the Western Array musical note for Virgo, a Virgin, is going to be C. But before we give you that, we're going to give you the tarot card for Virgo is the Hermit. The Hermit, he carries a lamp. A lot of times he hides his light under his cloak. And he's likes isolation, and he protects the light and the lamp of knowledge, and he doesn't show his light of knowledge to everyone. He only shows his light of knowledge to people who are worthy. That's for Virgo. Okay, now the Western Array musical note for Virgo is C, the healing note, and we're going to play that for you now. And that's the healing note for Virgo, the Virgin astrology sign, and to go with the Hermit card. Now, the information found in this document that's in the description box is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Now, moreover, much of the information about star magic was taught to me by an adjacent German pagan coven which had established satellite covens throughout the world. I began writing a book based upon these extremely important teachings in 1988, which I have entitled To Be My Star Magic Grimoire. Some reference books for writing about star magic and magic in general. Again, the page numbers are in the blog in the description box, and you can see how all the stars and these lunar mansions, which are often in have associations with Latin and Arabic, and the stars with Greek and Latin and for the star names. So to see how those are spelled and the page numbers in these books, if you want to research it yourself or do some of these kind of rituals or do some of this kind of study. The page numbers are in the description box on the blog. I'm going to give you just the books now because they're extremely important books for star magic and for magic in general. Now, Mansions of the Moon, a lunar zodiac for astrology and magic, second edition with 2019 to 2033 mansion ephemeris, written by Christopher Warnock in 2019 and illustrated by Nigel Jackson, published by Renaissance Astrology in 2019. The second book, 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, Llewellyn's Source Book Series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nedisham in 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993, published by Llewellyn Publications in 2000. And thirdly, The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science in 1923, published by American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., cover design by Jack Coppola, and again, this is from 1923. So thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again.